Mornings can be overwhelming, especially if you are dealing with an injury or an illness, or if you have a lot of stress in your life right now. And I'll be honest, things haven't been that easy for me lately. If your kitchen looks like this at the end of the day, ergo, first thing in the morning, that's okay. You are not alone. Today I'm sharing 5 things I do at night in my kitchen to help my mornings run a little more smoothly and to keep my kitchen feeling at least a little bit fresher. I made dinner today and I've got ingredients out and pots in the sink and dishes on the counter, and that is okay. Pre-concussion, I would not have let anyone see my kitchen looking like this. I would not have even had people over unless my house was company ready. But life looks a little different now, and I've had to make peace with that. And then I decided to start sharing things on the internet. So get over yourself, Larissa, and everybody else. Welcome to my messy kitchen. My name is Larissa, and on this channel, I share tips and tricks for making life a little bit easier so that you can be a little less stressed. And today I'm sharing 5 things I do at night in my kitchen to help my mornings run a little more smoothly and to keep my kitchen feeling at least a little bit fresher. They don't fix everything, but they help. Let's jump in. First up, this might sound small, but it's made a huge impact for me. I pour a little bit of lavender or citrus scented bleach down my sink. Why? Because your sink is one of the dirtiest places in your entire kitchen. So if you can't or choose not to get to your dishes right away, pouring some bleach down the sink can help to kill some of the bacteria and keep things a little fresher. Plus, waking up to a sink that smells fresh just feels better, you know? Now, I do use a sink strainer, and I found a system that works for me. I like to keep things as easy as possible. So instead of using one of those strainers that stands in your sink and you put a little mesh bag over it, I use one of these little mesh baggies and I put it right over top of the strainer that sits in my sink well. This means that I don't have to carefully pour things into the metal strainer that is standing in the corner of my sink, like some of these complete packages have. And it doesn't mean that I'm constantly trying to rinse out and rewash the sink strainer when it's got crap stuck to the bottom of it. I can just remove the mesh bag, throw it out, dump some bleach down the drain, and I'm done for the day. I usually run the mesh strainer through the dishwasher to keep things as clean as possible. And by making sure that I have a working strainer system, something that works for me and feels easy for me to do, I'm making sure that I'm not just killing bacteria when I dump bleach in the sink. I'm also making sure to get rid of anything that could cause smells, that could cause clogs, that could cause big problems down the road. This step in my nighttime routine feels like a little bit of a reset of my space, even if it's just my sink space. Speaking of resets, let's talk about making mornings easier with a reframe. One small thing that's made a big difference for me is filling my kettle the night before. And if you don't drink tea, you don't drink coffee, the point isn't necessarily filling your kettle, but finding something that is frustrating in your morning and seeing if you can do something the night before to combat the frustration. For me, that looked like finding that in the morning when I want to get up and do a morning meditation or do a morning yoga routine to start the day out right, I was coming into the kitchen, tripping over my cat who demands to be fed right away. I'm trying to fill the kettle. I feel a little groggy. I'm getting frustrated. And then I'm just wound up when I hit the yoga mat. So it was not a great way to start the morning. Now I fill my kettle the night before. That way in the morning, I come to the kitchen, I put down the cat food, click on the kettle, and go to my yoga mat. I know that by the time I do my 5 or 10 minute little routine, the water will be boiling and Libby is distracted eating her food, so she's not going to bug me either. So I encourage you to find a pain point in your morning, something that irks you, something that just rubs you the wrong way, and it's not huge. It's not something that you need to overcome, but every day you think, oh, for pity's sake, and see if maybe there's a way to work around it. For me, it was a small shift that helped me to start the day with a different mindset. This one is simple, but it is so underrated. I always put a fresh tea towel out before I go to bed. Here's the thing. Tea towels get grimy fast. Even if they're not covered in food, they collect bacteria. Swapping them out at night means that in the morning, especially if I'm in a rush or if I am not having a good brain day and I'm not paying attention, I don't grab something with yesterday's mess all over it. Plus, it feels nice to start the day out with something that doesn't smell bad and isn't sticky. Small habit, big impact. If I know that I have a lot of appointments or a busy day the next morning, when I'm dealing with dinner, I review my snacks for the next day and make sure that I am ready to go. Whether I'm packing a protein bar, filling my water bottle and popping it into the refrigerator, or putting a portion of my dinner aside for lunch the next day. It's just one less thing for me to scramble for in the morning. If I make a pot of stew and I put the whole thing away so that I'm not wasting food, but then I have to deal with scooping out one portion in the morning, that's just one thing keeping me from having a smooth morning and maybe even keeping me from having lunch the next day because I might just think, I'm running late, I can't be bothered. If you haven't seen my episode on bento boxes or my episode on easy to grab and go snacks, make sure you check them out. Having food ready to go means that I don't end up skipping out on meals and snacks or making choices I regret later. And while we are on the topic of food, let's talk about what's left over at the end of the day. This one was a game changer for me and for my, I don't want to say self-esteem, but I beat myself up less after I made this choice. At the end of the day, my energy is gone. Cleaning the kitchen, not gonna happen. Loading the dishwasher, I was dropping things, I was breaking plates, I was too tired and shaky to deal with breakable plates and glasses and mugs. It was not good. And then in the morning, I would look around and be like, look at this mess, look at this waste. How could you, Larissa? How frickin' could you? So I decided that putting away my leftovers was important to me. If I put away food and didn't waste food, I would count that night as a success. Even if I can't clean the kitchen, even if I can't dump bleach down the sink, I know that I won't wake up to wasted food, which is wasted time and effort and money. Wasting food is so irksome to me now. And honestly, I give myself grace when I forget, because sometimes I forget. We all do. Recently, I used part of a tray of chicken breast and I put the leftover chicken that I was going to use the next day into a Ziploc bag and forgot to put it in the fridge, and it got shuffled behind things on the counter, and the next morning when I was cleaning my kitchen, I found it. You know what? Crap happens. It does. And it's not the end of the world. And some nights you just need to crash, and that's okay. So these are the 5 little habits that I have built into my nighttime routine that take almost no effort and set me up for better mornings. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you have something that you have worked into your nighttime routine that helps your mornings go more smoothly? Drop it in the comments below and let's share some ideas to have some better mornings. And if you found this video helpful, please make sure that you like, subscribe, hit the bell. Remember that we are all learning as we go and we are all making little adjustments. And please remember that you are not alone in figuring out what works best for you.